My name is Angelina and I'm 41 years old. I am originally from Kenya, but I've been resident in this country for about 19 years. I'd been doing my finals way up north in Manchester, and I got very ill with something that turned out later to be jaundice. When the doctor asked me to go for an HIV test, because I'd been through surgery a couple of times, I wasn't really expecting that. I think I must have turned grey, because he did say to me, you look really shocked. But I mean, what did he expect? Because he had just asked me to have an HIV test. I didn't really have much of a discussion beforehand. So I was pretty shaken, I can say that. I did have some information about HIV because unfortunately, maybe 6 or 7 months before the doctor asked me to go for a test, my brother had disclosed to us that he had HIV. But what made it even worse for me was because he'd been really, really ill, and it was the pre-treatment era. So he'd had Kaposi's sarcoma, he'd had meningitis, he'd had fits. Basically, he'd had almost every opportunistic infection going, and he spent a lot of time in and out of hospital. So that's the kind of thing I knew about HIV. So when the doctor asked me to go and test, it was quite difficult. I got offered a job in the same week that I got my diagnosis. And so I had to make a decision as to whether shall I sit at home and wait to die, or shall I, take the job? And I thought I might as well take the job while I'm waiting, because I need to keep busy, don't I? But at the back of my head, I was really scared, and I couldn't really tell my family. That was the ironic thing. I made a decision very early on. I mean, I could either go two ways. I could be extremely bitter, and blame, or I could be, I could try and lead my life as much as I could. And I thought, well, you know what, it's all very well being miserable, but I actually prefer a happier life. So I thought, I might as well lead one day at a time. I'm not always happy, but I tend now to appreciate each day at a time. I wake up in the morning and I'm alive, and I think, oh, this is great.